Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ViewfindHer podcast. I am your host, Mya Saree Gray. I am a filmmaker, musician, and mother of two. Now, traditionally, on a camera, what you look through to see what you're going to take a picture of or video of is called the viewfinder. It's that little thing. Well, this is an old camera, but this is the little thing that you look through to kind of just see what you're going to take a picture of. So, on this podcast, I want to take you guys to see how I see the world through interviews with amazing people that are making a positive change in this world. With that being said, let's get started. Welcome to the fourth episode of the ViewfindHer podcast. I'm your host, Mya Saree Gray, and today I have Kayla with me to discuss body positivity. She is a body positivity advocate, and we're just going to talk about self-love, the way that the world perceives us, and how we can change the stigmas around the way that women's bodies are viewed and compared, and just be able to be accepted for being ourselves. So welcome to the podcast. Thank you for
having me.
Yeah, so tell people a little bit more about what you do as a body positivity advocate.
Actually, it's been a year since I started my blog. A couple months before I started it. I always wanted to start a blog. I always wanted to somewhat advocate for women of all body types. But it's been a year since I've been doing that. And honestly, it's fun. It's very liberating. It's nice to be able to encourage others, but also have the same women that support me give me advice and encouragement, which I love. I wanted to do this because mainly middle school into high school was bullied, of course, for being bigger, but we were always looked upon. And after I graduated high school, I kind of came into my own skin and who I was, and like kind of had this carefree attitude of what other people thought of me. And then social media became a huge thing. So I feel like a lot of women are now easily judged, and body positivity has become a huge movement because we need it. A lot of women are struggling, whether they're smaller, whether they're a mom, whether they're larger. So I just felt like this was a good time for me to get the word out there and to be supported, because had I had someone like this in high school and in middle school where I can just go on a website and read like what their thoughts and opinions were, it wouldn't have been so long like of me struggling,
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that it's different, like from your observation, do you think that men are like criticized less than a woman would be criticized?
I actually tried to get into that before on my blog, and I feel like yes, they are criticized less, but I also feel like they are criticized. I feel like women, or everyone in general, do look at men and we judge them just like they judge us, and I just feel like it's easier for men to cover up like the struggle, the depression, the same emotions we go through as women. So I feel like yes, they're criticized a little less, but no, they probably receive the same that we do. They just brush it off.
Yeah. And now, what was the point? Like you mentioned, like becoming comfortable in your own skin. And I think a lot of us have to go through that. And I would have just asked you, like, what were the steps that kind of like just was the fact that high school was literally like a parody, or like what was it that?
Well, I went to 3 different high schools. I started off at one school, then I moved out of state and, ended up coming back to Connecticut. And, you know, high school is like very cliquey, where you make friends, where like you would hope that like you'd fit in. And I just was very uncomfortable all the time. Like, where did I belong? Was I supposed to be like with a certain group of people? Like, I just didn't know. Like, I spent a lot of time trying to do things and wear things and like things that other people liked at the time. So after high school and I graduated, and I knew that none of these people were ever going to probably see me again, because I didn't have like strong friendships with people at the time. I knew that they were going to never see me again. So like that was kind of like the switch to be like who I wanted to be. I started to do things that like I wanted to do, wear things I wanted to wear, kind of like, you know, switched up, because I felt like I didn't have to be that person anymore. I didn't have to blend in and fit in with them, because it didn't matter anymore.
Do you think that because for me, like you mentioned like mom bodies and stuff like that, and it's crazy to me, like I'll notice a lot of moms will be like ashamed of like their stretch marks or like different things, and I love it on my own body, like, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm like, I don't really care what no one else thinks, because I appreciate
Right.
them. But what I do notice is, do you think that like, you know, you talk about wearing certain things, and I for my perception of it, it's like certain body types they get the okay with wearing like no bra, right?
Right.
But if you have double D's,
Yeah.
people are gonna be looking at you like you're crazy.
I literally was talking about that the other day. I'm like, oh, there are times where I will not wear a bra, and there will times where I'm like, no, I need to wear a bra. But then I'm like, okay, well, I see so-and-so doing it. Maybe I can do it. But then like, I'm like, no, like this isn't appropriate. So I get it. Some like in regards to the mom bods, I would say like, think back to why and where you are now. You've carried your child, and sometimes we don't always snap back like these social media people do. The stretch marks, I mean, I have them. I didn't even have a child. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, our bodies are meant to stretch, are meant to do things that they're supposed to do. So I just feel like it is what it is. Like, I'm never going to judge anyone walking on the street if I saw you wearing a crop top and I'm like, oh, her stretch mark. Never. It's what you want to wear. If I'm wearing it, I'm not going to tell you you can't wear it, you know? So I just feel like that actually like makes me angry, because like I have friends who are moms, and I'm like, I mean, they wear whatever they want to wear. Like sometimes they do, you know, cover up a little bit, cover up like certain insecurities of theirs, but I always just tell them, girl, ain't nobody looking at you. Like, it's okay.
Exactly. And like, it's funny because a real man will love every part, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and it's funny because I was looking at your Instagram and I saw that video you were talking about like how in public some people will be like throwing shade, right? But they're in your DMs. You know, you're talking about plus size women and how, you know, there may be shade thrown publicly, but you're sliding in my DMs. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what do you think that is from?
In regards to that video, I believe you're talking about the one where we're dating as a plus size woman. I think we were talking about something along the lines of like, kind of like, oh, I wouldn't talk to her like around their boys, but you're really in our DMs. You're really like trying to get our attention and apply pressure. I think, I also think that men have like certain fetishes for like bigger women. So like, I mean, when you have a fetish for something, you don't want people to know. So that's like where our conversation was going. But I feel like men are just always trying to like say something, do something, but deep down, they're take it down a little bit. The Instagram models are never going to be your wives. Like, it's okay. You can date a natural body Like, that's what I was basically trying to say. Like, you really are into us, but you can't let people know that, which is sad, but it's whatever.
You know what's crazy too, because I feel like, you know, nothing, I have nothing against if people want to go get surgeries and stuff, like that's to each his own, right? But I saw a post the other day and it was talking about it was like this girl, she posted basically only poor girls can't get surgeries or can't get surgeries or something like that, or like basically like saying it was something to the correlation of being poor and not being able to afford surgeries. And then this guy made a whole video about it, like a comedian, and he was talking about how some women, they don't want surgeries, you know what I mean? And how it's kind of become normalized to like go get a BBL, to get a lipo, not lipo, what is that? You know, the different
yeah, to get the weight loss surgery.
Exactly. And it's just like, well, in my opinion, you know, we were made, like, if we're made by God or creator, then there should be no reason that we are doing extra stuff to our bodies. It's so unnatural, and then it's getting normalized, so it's kind of unhealthy. And that's where I kind of ask you, like, at what point do you think is getting too out of hand?
I would say that like getting surgery is like way out of hand. As for the weight loss surgery though, like if your health depends on it and you really need that help, then go for it. My mother, she's had a weight loss surgery before. And we literally were just talking about it like a couple weeks ago, actually, about the whole BBL thing. And like, we jokingly as women will be like, oh my God, like I would feel so much better if I had like, you know, smaller boobs, bigger butt, or bigger boobs, you know, proportioned well, like flatter stomach, blah, blah, blah. And like, I say that all the time, but like deep down, like I'm not going to go out and get it because one, it's not necessary. Like, it's not going to change how I feel about myself. It's super temporary. Like, in the moment, you may feel great, but like, what if down the line, like, that doesn't change anything? Like, your mental state is still the same. You may still negatively look at yourself with a fat ass. So, like, you know, and I spoke about that on my blog too. Like, if you want to do it, cool. But like, these are temporary fixes. And like, sometimes you're not going to feel great at the end. Like, it's just like retail shopping. You go get an outfit because you want to look good, but then the next day you're feeling shitty again. So it's like, it's hard, but I do get why women want to do it. Like, some women really are insecure with like a straighter body and want a little bit of curve, or their hip dips do bother them, and that's fine. I know that moms get mommy makeovers because they don't want the saggy skin, and that's fine. But like, sometimes enough is enough, and like, not to let these Instagram influencers like really like push you to get something and tell you that you need to get something to be acceptable. And that's beyond me. Like, that's something I won't do.
Yeah, that I totally agree. You couldn't have really said it any better, because it's like it's just kind of toxic. It's and that's where I would say the variation between men and women is like, if like, all right, if a guy, if he has like let's say he wants a six pack, you know, obviously there are surgeries that you can get a six pack, but it's not gonna be like, oh well, he don't got a six pack, like he needs to get a, you know, or he feels so pressured that he needs to get surgery. But a woman really may feel like they need to get a surgery,
right?
And it's just kind of like an attack on women in a way, you know, to feel like
I would also say, like, don't let your decision of the BBL and the body like be influenced by a man either. Like, you're gonna do that for what? Really think about it. Like, don't do it so that you can, like, you know, wear better things and like fit certain clothes, and don't, it's just a lot. But yeah, I do understand like the male, like men are not pressured in that sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what I mean by that. And then I would just say also, like, as a body advocate, like, what do you feel like your role is like for other women or other people that like on a social basis?
I feel like my role is just to be like a go-to person. I just want women to come to me for advice, for the encouragement. But I also am very hard on myself when it comes to things like that, because oftentimes like I'm not feeling great. I'm having like a bad body day, and I'm having like a moment just like everyone else is having a moment. So I want to be that go-to person in a sense that you can come to me and say, girl, I've been feeling so blah, 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 blah. And then I can say me too, you know? So I just kind of like, I just want to be a friend. I just want to be like, I just want to be there, be friends, advice, encouragement. It's just like, just an open space in general.
So like more so like a community to have.
Yeah. And I would hope that people do think of it as a community. I don't always hear like too much feedback. I mean, I hear good feedback, but I don't see the feedback about like the feeling of what the website brings. So I would hope that like people do look and they feel like that community, that like good space to come to. And I've been trying to find like different ways for like my supporters to like come together and connect. And like I just opened up like a comment section on my blogs as well. So I would hope that like they can interact that way as well.
So would you ever think of like, you know how like when the curly hair, natural hair was kind of like really springing up, people started doing like curly hair festivals and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you ever think of doing that for like body positivity or?
I would. I feel like that would be so dope. I mean, I don't know like how that would get started, but like I feel like I would definitely want to participate in something like that. I even tried doing that like with my photo shoots. Like I just wanted everyone to come together, no matter what size you were, like what you looked like, and just feel good, like good music, good vibes, food, photo shoot, you know, just like the Curl Festival. I wish someone would like start something like that. I mean, we can start something like that.
Yeah, we could definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like overall Connecticut is like, you know, we get a lot of shade, but I think everybody's like in certain regards we're not really supportive, but in other ways we are. Like, you know, as a musician, I noticed like some people, everybody makes music now. So it's kind of like nobody's really supporting each other. But in regards to like something like you're doing, like that, or like I've noticed like with my films, like sometimes people will be more supportive of that because it's like not normal. It's like something different.
I also feel like people are more supportive in like your film and like the body positivity, because like that's like not that music is not creative, but like I feel like right now people can really relate to like the body positivity, and I feel like that's something that they can be on board with. And as well as your film, I feel like that's something that it's easier for people to be on board with and easier for people to relate. And there's a lot of people that are out here creating in that sense. So I get what you're saying about the film versus like your music kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. But maybe one day we can collab and make like a little short film about body positivity, if you're down.
And also maybe you can come sit with Sydney and I for our episodes too.
Yeah, that would
I really want to get everything open to the public on YouTube, and I would hope that like I would get some views there. So definitely I have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being a part of the 4th episode. If you could tell people where they could find your information, your Instagram, and anything else, like your website.
My Instagram is Kays.word, Kays.word. My link is in the bio for the website. You could also find me on kays.word.squarespace.com. Yeah, let me know feedback, leave comments. Like I really want to like know how like my followers see my site. And yeah, stay tuned for all the good stuff. That's it. I don't really have like Twitter or like anything like that, but Instagram is like my go-to.
I'm the same. It's easiest. I feel like it's most active, you know.
Give me a follow. My page is now private due to like certain people following and different pages. I recently had like someone create a fake page. So like I'm trying to keep it like private and not public, but I need to open it back up to the public soon because I can't get like my interactions up being private. So yeah.
I went through literally the same thing because I was just like, you know, well, let me just make this private. I'm just feeling like maybe I should I felt like in a way, maybe it could increase.
Yeah.
You know, but then I'm like, oh, damn. But then like people can't really share stuff as much, you know, if your story's private or whatever. So I was like, you know, let me just put it out.
I know I need to get back like to a public page because my shares and my interactions are like super low, but I've also kind of been slacking. So I need to pick up my speed.
Yeah, take it at your own pace though. Take it at your own pace.
Yeah, I think that like for everyone, including ourselves and everyone else who is out there like in the content creation, is just to keep going. Even though you think no one's watching, just keep posting, keep doing what you're doing, because one day somebody might need to like scroll all the way down and see like where you started and if you were consistent and where you are now. So that would be my advice.
I like that.
To us, to the girls watching, to the guys watching. But yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.